Ethics are don't cheat, don't lie, don't hurt another, treat others as you want to be treated. And no one is working on that. Saying this is my favorite event. Like seriously, you guys are fun. This city, I've never been here before. I don't know why I've never been here before. I think because probably 10 months of the year it's not for me. I'm a warm weather creature. But this is the first event ever where there is a machine that has decaf oat milk lattes. Like, did you see that? Like, seriously. I don't know what I can do to make it up to you people. This is amazing. I'm going to spend the next 25 minutes scaring you, if that's okay. I want to talk to you about artificial intelligence. And then we'll have time for Q&A if you want. Unless you want me off the stage quickly afterwards. So I kept trying to look back in my life. So I'm a very serious geek. I started coding when I was 8. I still today understand mathematics and code better than English. So, you know, really that's the way my brain thinks. And at age 8, I dreamt of having artificial intelligence. I dreamt of coding artificial intelligence. Of course, a dream, if you want. All of the world dreamt of coding artificial intelligence since 1956 was when we thought that we can make computers intelligent. But we never really did. And it was, I think, 1995. For the first time in my life, I think the most pivotal moment in the history of technology, if you ask me, if you ask others, it might be different, was a moment I called the Netscape moment. And any of you have ever used Netscape, the web browser? Yeah, you're showing your age. So you know, I'm so happy that most of you didn't. But Netscape, I remember I used to work at IBM at the time, and one of our clients had that internet thing, right? And I went, and you know, we went at 7 p.m. after everyone left, and the customer was like, "Come see that thing." And there was Mosaic, and you know, and we browsed the internet. And I have to tell you, that moment was the most pivotal moment that makes what we have today, the rise of the internet. But when you really think of 1995, it wasn't the year that the internet was invented. It was the year when the internet was revealed to the world. Do you understand that? For 15, 20 years before that, the internet existed. It was growing. It was filling up with knowledge and connections. And the browser was Netscape. Right? It was the first time we realized it existed, right? This happened again in 2023. And in 2023, ChatGPT came out. For most of us who have not been exposed to AI, you'd think that this is the year where AI met the world. It's not at all. So we, I think, found our first breakthrough, and I lived through those events in my careers at Microsoft and Google and so on. We found the first breakthrough in the year 2000, believe it or not, deep learning. We started to think of deep learning in the year 2000. And it wasn't because we figured something out that was new. It was because of the internet, because the internet has been in use for a while, that we had enough patterns, enough knowledge, enough compute power to actually allow computers to be smart, right? 2009 was the first time we really paused and said, oh, this is real. It was, if you ever want to search for it, it was known as the cat paper. The cat paper was when Google issued a white paper that basically spoke about an experiment that we did, where we took enough compute and we told it to watch YouTube. We didn't tell it what to look for. We just said, go and watch YouTube. And then a tiny bit of time later, one of them came back and said, I found something. And we had to write code to understand the neural network to see what it found. And it found a cat, based, of course, YouTube, right? So it found a cat, but it found what being a cat is, right? And so it could find literally every cat on the planet. And that was, at the time, we published it as unprompted AI. And because we didn't tell it what to search for, right? But of course, as you can imagine, using the same algorithm, we could find every human, every Ferrari, every yellow car, and so on and so forth. 2016 was the breakthrough. For most of us, it was the idea that where we are today with language models and transformers and so on, started in 2016. The most pivotal moment for most of us where we realized it was very, very real was when we won the world championship on the game Go. right? And that was quite something, because Go is not a game you can code. It's a game that you need intelligence to be able to win. I left Google in 2018, wrote my book Scary Smart in 2020, to say that this is way bigger than humanity is giving it attention. And then in 2021, after Scary Smart was out, I would beg my contacts. Remember, I was chief business officer of Google X. I knew quite a few people in the media industry. And in 2021, when I told them I wrote this book about artificial intelligence, they wouldn't put me on TV. They would go like, nobody cares about AI, right? 2023, they were all begging. Everywhere, CNN, ABC, whatever you have, everyone was asking me to be there because it was the event of the year, right? Now, when you think about it, what was different? I realized as I travel around the world that everyone talks about AI, but very few of us agree what AI is. Why is AI any different than, Excel? Excel appears extremely intelligent, right? And I'll tell you the difference. The difference is a geek like me, every time I wrote code in my younger years before AI, I solved the problem first. It was my intelligence, and then I told the computer to do it over and over and over and over as per my intelligence. Right? It's like giving you a puzzle of 10 pieces and then telling you, put this one in the first corner, then put this one below it, then put that one below it. If you solve the puzzle that way, that doesn't make you intelligent at all. Right? If I gave you the puzzle, however, and I said, figure it out yourself, now you're intelligent. Right? AI is that, and that's the biggest differentiator you need to understand. We actually do not tell the computers how to solve the problem. We do not tell them how to win the game of Go. You understand that? We just show them enough games of Go and tell them, go ahead, tell us how this game is played. Right? Very, very big difference. Now, how far have we come? 2023, we had ChatGPT 4, and there are estimates that ChatGPT 4 was of 155 IQ. Remember, language models are just about knowledge and linguistic intelligence. There are so many other types of intelligence out there that AI hasn't done yet, okay? But in linguistic intelligence, in the task we've given them, they were comparable to Elon Musk at 155. Einstein was never measured, but Einstein was estimated to be 162, right? This is very alarming. Why? Because every task we've ever given to AI, they became the best in the world at it. Right? They are the absolute best players of Go. They're the best players of chess. They're the best players of Atari. They are the best knowledge aggregators. They're now the best artists by far. They make music. They do whatever we tell them better than anyone else. Remember that. Whatever we tell them, they do better than anyone else. Now, ChatGPT 4.0 is probably 5 to 10 times better than ChatGPT. It's hard to estimate what the IQ of that is, but just let your imagination go. If you've ever, like me, had the chance to sit with one of the prominent physicists in the world, okay, you understand what it means to have an intelligence gap. Right? Because when I sat in rooms, I love physics and I study physics deeply. But when I sat in the room with the professors, I had no idea what they were talking about, let alone understand what the analysis they were giving. Okay? That's because their intelligence is, say, 50% higher than me. Right? I want you to imagine that, and imagine in the next 2 to 3 years if something is double our intelligence, or 10 times our intelligence, or 1,000 times our intelligence. Now, this is very, very eye-opening. Now, I want you to also understand what's happening this year. So this year is very important, very pivotal for AI. I try to remind myself by saying it is the AAA CDF, okay? AAA CDF. So a few things will happen this year. One is what we call aperture. So basically, the size of data that you could give AI in the past in a prompt was, a few lines, okay? Now you can give it millions and millions and millions of lines in context. You can give it PDF documents and videos, and right, and it gets intelligence from that. The second is what we call agents, right? And agents are AIs talking to AIs. So last year, we were talking to AIs, telling them what to do. This year, AIs are talking to AIs. Yes, last year as well, but this year it's the name of the game, really. Which basically means you can talk to one AI and say, book me a trip to this wonderful city called Riga, and the AI will do everything, right? Which is the third A, by the way, which is known as prompt or text to action. Okay? So AIs you used to prompt them and they give you back knowledge or content, right? Now you can actually prompt them and they will give you back an action in the real world. Some of the dreams of some of the prominent AI scientists and CEOs is that by the end of 2024, early 2025, you should be able to go to an AI and say, I want to invest $1,000. I want you to bring it back to me as $1,200 in 6 months' time, and then it will do everything. Right? It will search the internet, it will find out what people are interested in, it will find enough knowledge about it, write a book about it, design the cover of the book, put your name on it, publish it on Amazon, sell it, and then give you $1,200 back. Right? This is about to happen. The C and the D is complex mathematics and deep reasoning. We were not, even as smart as they look, we have not cracked those yet. I do better math than AI. Today, but I won't by the end of the year, right? And deep reasoning was their ability to understand things like, if it takes one towel an hour to dry, it doesn't take 10 towels 10 hours, it takes the same amount. It's deep reasoning. So the stuff that you got in algebra, we've improved drastically on that. And so with all of those things happening, what is about to happen in our world is that a lot of things will change, okay? When I tell people this, I get that normal silence in the room. It's like, ooh, there will be Terminators walking the streets shooting all of us. I don't think that will ever happen, okay? I'm saying it publicly. I don't think we will ever reach that point where AI will turn against us. But that's not, that's not because it's not possible that it happens. But it's because unless we correct a few other things before, we will never reach that point. Okay? So let me try to explain what I normally refer to as face RIP. So again, I try to remember because there is so much, and I'm going to throw so much at you quickly, and then we can discuss it in Q&A. I try to remember the acronyms. RIP, if you know in English, is rest in peace. And basically, this is to remind me that we're going to face quite a lot of RIPs, right? The R is the end of reality. So in a world where AI can fake this, by the way, next year, I guarantee you, if you want me back here, I could send my avatar, right? I could send an AI that will speak like me, walk like me, have the same weird accent, and appear to have the same bald head, right? And that AI will know everything that I know and will answer the questions as if I would, right? That is so fake that our definition of reality might actually start to be impaired. When I talk about the end of reality, I also talk about the fact that the biggest AIs we've developed so far as humanity are what? Social media engines that have been trained for 10 to 12 years to manipulate humans to believe that something is real, right? And so one of the biggest trends that are going to rupture our human society is the kind of division you now see in the world about people thinking that what they know is the truth and that everyone else knows is not. Okay? The reality is that if you compare a Google search engine, which you searched and you got 1 million websites as a result, so that you make up your mind what the truth is, and a Gemini, a product from Google where you search and it gives you one answer, and it tells you that this answer is true. Okay? I asked ChatGPT 4.0 about the name of my wife, and it confidently, very confidently, gave me the wrong name. Right? Now, we don't question that, but that's the end of reality for most humans who will not have the intelligence to debate what they're told. That's number one. The I is the redefinition of intelligence itself. And I'll tell you that very openly. I have 4 bestsellers as an author, right? I can guarantee you that if I write ever again, it will be a lot more difficult. Why? Because there are 62,000 books that are launched in the US last year. This year, probably with AI, there will be 80. The next year, probably with AI, there'll be 120. It's just abundance. The definition of intelligence is very different. Remember, what is about to happen is that we're turning intelligence into a utility, a plug in the wall. Okay? Where I can literally, with a few lines of codes, or now with a few prompts in speech, I can augment my intelligence with 100 IQ points more, right? So that basically gives me no advantage whatsoever over someone who has never studied programming. Do you understand that, right? So I'm no longer an intelligent programmer as compared to a machine that will code better than me, or anyone in this room. With all due respect, you have different types of intelligences. Right? But you can be more intelligent than I in coding by just saying, write a piece of code that does A, B, and C. Right? That redefines intelligence. It redefines power. This is the biggest one of them all. Right? Power is going to be concentrated because the ones that are going to have control over big AIs are going to have a very, very large control over all of us. So you would think that, in the old days, the best hunter could feed the tribe for a day extra, the best farmer could feed the tribe for a month extra, and that the best farmer aggregated more wealth than the best hunter, the best industrialist had aggregated more wealth than the best farmer, and so on, then the best AI platform will aggregate a lot more wealth than the best internet platform, which will show us the top trillionaires, the first trillionaires in the world within the next few years, and will show us quite a bit of power in terms of nations competing with each other. I'll quickly go through the others, but basically that means also the end of freedom. So I'll talk about this very openly, and I actually shied away. This is the first time I talk about this publicly. Power is not only being concentrated, it's also being distributed very heavily. Because of the redefinition of intelligence, each and every one of us now has the access to tools they've never had before, which they can use for good, but also can use for bad. And if they use them for bad, it's a threat for the security of everyone, which gives every government around the world the right to say, no, hold on, we're going to have to restrict your freedoms a little bit because we don't know where the threat is coming from. I'm a Middle Eastern. It doesn't matter what I've achieved in my life. My bank blocks my account every 6 weeks. Okay? Why? Because they look at me and they go like, you're a threat. Your name says that you're a threat. So we're just going to make sure that when you send fund to your brother, that your brother is not a terrorist. Okay? And that level of control is going to become more and more because the threat will come from everywhere. Right? I think that, as I said openly, the definition of accountability will change because those who code those AIs are not always the ones that pay for the uses of them. And most interestingly, the definition of connection will change. Because we as humans, if you look at social media today, sadly, the definition of beauty has changed so much because of filters, right? If you can imagine a world where AI is telling you what beauty should look like, what connection should look like, what knowledge should look like, what friendship should look like, those definitions may redefine human connection. What do we do about all of this? It seems to me that we're missing the problem, right? So in the technology world, we always said that AI is to be controlled. We used to call it the control problem. They call it the AI safety problem today, okay? I can guarantee you cannot control something that's twice as smart as you, let alone 1 billion times smarter than you, right? The problem is defined wrong. And the reality of the matter is that we forget that it is not our intelligence that leads us to making decisions, right? It's our ethics as informed by our intelligence that lead us to making decisions. Do you understand this? So if a woman is born and raised in the Middle East, she will wear a more conservative dress code. If she's born and raised in Rio de Janeiro, she will wear a G-string on the beach. Okay? Neither is right, the other is not wrong, is wrong, or neither is smarter than the other. It's just that the value set of society is different. And intelligent beings will use that value set to fit within society. So when you think about our challenge as humanity, by the way, did you notice I'm not even talking to you about technology? Okay? This entire conversation is about the fact that our value set as humanity has been designed in a world of scarcity. We designed the value set of capitalism and growth and competitiveness and, sadly, wars and power and all of that because there were limited resources. If you give me 100 IQ points more, now listen to this, if you give me 400 IQ points more, I'm committing in public, okay? If you give me 400 IQ points more, I will turn the garden outside to a garden where you walk to one tree and pick an apple and walk to another tree and pick an iPhone. Okay? The cost of building those two from a molecular point of view, from a nanophysics point of view, is exactly the same. Zero cost to make an iPhone if I could get nanophysics right. Do you understand that? Right? This is a world of abundance that humanity has never seen before. And yet we're dealing with it with the mentality of, for me to win, my competitor has to lose. Right? For me to be safe, my enemy has to die. And that, if you believe it or not, is the biggest challenge facing humanity today. In the middle of all of the geopolitical challenges we have, in the middle of all of the economic challenges we have, in the middle of all of the climate challenges we have, the biggest challenge facing humanity today is that we're treating a new environment with an old value set. Okay? It's like raising Superman. Believe it or not. Okay? Superman has just landed on Earth. It's that new infant alien with superpowers, an alien that can change everything. Right? If we tell that alien to protect and serve, it becomes Superman. It solves all the problems. Right? If we teach that alien to go steal and kill the enemy, it becomes supervillain. Right? And what humanity is not talking about is what is AI going to be used for. And when I say ethical AI, I don't talk about AI that is used to cure cancer. That's not the definition of ethics. Curing cancer is using AI for good. Do you understand that? Ethics are don't cheat, don't lie, don't hurt another, treat others as you want to be treated. And no one is working on that. No one is working on that. No one is putting regulations in place that say, by the way, we're not going to regulate AI. There's no way we can regulate something that's so much smarter than us. But every government in the world should put a regulation that says, if you create a fake video, you are legally liable to say this is fake created by AI. That's such an easy move. Every government can do this tomorrow, right? But we're stuck in that conversation of how are we going to control the tech companies, right? If you ask me, I attempted to do that with the big players for a very long time. And then in 2020, when I wrote Scary Smart, my objective was very different. My objective was, if I believe in the democratization of power that I'm talking about, that every one of us is going to become a lot more intelligent, okay, then maybe the right answer is I can talk to you instead of talking to big tech or to the governments and ask every one of you being intelligent to behave with ethics. Do you understand that? If each and every one of us decided to never invest in an AI and never deploy an AI in our company unless we would not mind that AI dealing with our daughters and sons, then we're okay. If each and every one of us dealt with that AI in a way that matched the way we wanted that AI to deal back with us, then we're okay. If every one of us dealt with each other, because AI is observing all the time in a way that actually is the way we want others to deal with us, including AI, will be okay. And you may think I'm a dreamer, like John Lennon says. I'm not. As a matter of fact, I know for a fact from the warm hugs I've had today that 99.9% of you are wonderful people. There is 1% that's annoying. I'm not going to say who, but but 99% of the people you meet are okay. We all have our issues and traumas, and daddy was annoying and all of that stuff, right? But in reality, all humans actually don't want to kill anyone. Okay? Don't approve of killing anyone, and that's the truth. And when you really see it that way, then what I'm asking people to do is to not change at all. It's to just show the good side of you. I know this was supposed to be a talk about AI, but believe it or not, there's absolutely nothing wrong with AI. There is something wrong with the value set of humanity, the apparent value set of humanity in the age of the rise of machines. And I think it's about time that each and every one of us changes that. Perfectly on time, 3 seconds late. Questions?
So, what is the most important question? Anybody? Yes, are you sure?
Yes, hello, thank you very much for this great speech. The general question is, how do you think AI can make us happier?
How do I think AI can make us happier? I don't think anyone can make anyone happier. Okay? I think happiness is a choice. I know, Andres, you know my work, but it's happiness as a choice is for us to look at the reality of life and compare events to expectations and find gratitude in life, to like what we have rather than want what we don't, if you want. If I can create a world where there is so much abundance that everyone has every need met, okay, that doesn't mean that world will be happier, sadly. Okay? I sometimes compare, respectfully as I love them, to the Scandinavian countries where they have the highest subjective well-being in the world. All of the citizens' needs are met, okay? But they also have a significant suicide rate, right? So when we can look at the current environment that we live in and say, can we make life better for people? Yes, we can. Will we? Yes, if we insist that governments and business owners and investors do the right thing, right? But will that make us happier? As a matter of fact, I'm not sure. As a matter of fact, some people will talk about the possibility that this will make us feel no sense of purpose. That, if I don't wake up in the morning and rush to work and argue with my colleagues and just fill the books, what's my life's purpose? Remember, however, that once again, all of those definitions of life's purpose were built in an era of scarcity, okay? As an era where companies needed employees to be able to believe in a purpose so that they come and be more productive every day, okay? The truth is, if you look 200 years ago, our only purpose was to chat around the campfire and, maybe harvest a few things and that's it, right? And connect as humans. And when you really ask me, in this environment, I think those of us who will prioritize human connection will find a lot more happiness, right? So believe it or not, the one thing, and I've been against that my whole life, that people told me there are things AI cannot do. The one thing that AI will not be able to do is the handshake we had when I sat in front of you. Right? It's the way you look at me when I'm speaking. It's the way I try to know that you're feeling something and maybe align to that feeling. Right? Those are things that can be mimicked by AI, but they're not going to be real by AI. And for those of us who prioritize those and master them, I think we'll be in a happier place. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo.